Have your feet been feeling swollen, sore, or just plain tired lately? Maybe you wake up stiff or go to bed with that dull, throbbing ache in your soles. If you're over 60, foot pain can become a frustrating part of everyday life. But here's something many people don't realize. What you eat might be making it worse. That's right. It's not just age or arthritis or the shoes you wear. Sometimes the foods we eat every day quietly fuel the inflammation, stiffness, and swelling that settle into our feet and ankles. And unless we take a closer look at what's on our plate, we might be unknowingly making things harder for our own bodies. In this video, we're going to explore 5 of the worst foods for seniors living with foot pain. These aren't obscure or exotic ingredients. They're common foods that seem harmless, but can actually lead to fluid retention, poor circulation, nerve irritation, and joint pain in your feet. Whether you deal with plantar fasciitis, arthritis, gout, or just tired, heavy feet, this information could help you take back control, one bite at a time. But don't worry, we're not just here to take things away. We'll also share practical, simple replacements that can help reduce inflammation and support your feet from the inside out. Because when your feet feel good, you move better, sleep better, and enjoy life more. So stay with us to the very end and learn what to cut, what to swap, and how to give your feet the support they truly need. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks, everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. Fried foods fuel inflammation in joints and feet. Margaret, a 70-year-old retired hairdresser from Tennessee, always looked forward to her Friday treat, crispy fried catfish with fries from her favorite diner. It was a tradition that brought back fond memories, and she never thought much of it. But over the past year, Margaret began to notice something troubling. Her feet would swell after dinner, especially around the arches and heels. Some mornings, she could barely fit into her walking shoes. Her doctor told her it might be plantar fasciitis or early arthritis, but also asked one surprising question. How often are you eating fried foods? That's when it clicked. She was enjoying fried meals multiple times per week without realizing the toll it was taking on her feet. Fried foods are among the biggest contributors to inflammation in the body, especially in the joints and soft tissues of the feet. When foods like chicken, fish, or potatoes are deep fried, especially in reused or highly processed oils, they produce compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These harmful molecules increase oxidative stress and promote chronic inflammation. For seniors whose bodies are already more sensitive to inflammation, this can lead directly to pain, swelling, stiffness, and longer recovery times after even light activity like walking or standing. On top of that, many fried foods contain trans fats, which not only raise bad cholesterol levels, but also stiffen blood vessels. This reduces circulation, particularly to your lower extremities where blood flow is already slower. Without good circulation, your feet don't get the oxygen and nutrients they need to heal, and fluid builds up, causing puffiness and tenderness. If you already suffer from arthritis, bunions, neuropathy, or plantar fasciitis, eating fried food can make those symptoms flare up, often within hours of the meal. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up the comfort of crisp, golden food. You just need to cook it differently. Margaret started using an air fryer at home with olive oil spray and seasoning her fish with anti-inflammatory herbs like turmeric and rosemary. She also began roasting vegetables instead of frying them and was surprised at how much flavor she gained and how much pain she lost. Within weeks, her feet felt less tender, and she could go for longer walks with her neighbors without stopping to rest every few minutes. If fried food is something you enjoy often, think fried chicken, French fries, onion rings, or even battered seafood. Try keeping track of how your feet feel the day after. Are they more swollen or stiff? Do you feel less stable on your feet? That simple awareness can help you make better choices going forward. Remember, small changes can make a big difference. Now that we've seen how fried foods can quietly inflame your feet, let's move on to another everyday culprit that might be sitting right in your pantry. And it's probably something you reach for without thinking. even though it could be silently adding to your swelling and discomfort. Number 2, high sodium foods increase fluid retention in the feet. Frank, a 76-year-old veteran from Arizona, had always been a fan of convenience. After years of cooking for a family, he enjoyed the ease of canned soups, deli sandwiches, and frozen dinners. His pantry was stocked with ready-to-eat meals, and he often added a little extra salt just for taste. But gradually he began noticing something uncomfortable. His feet and ankles were swelling by late afternoon. His shoes felt tighter, and walking across the living room became uncomfortable, especially on warmer days. At first he assumed it was just part of aging, but after visiting a cardiologist, he received advice that surprised him: cut back on sodium and your feet might thank you. Frank took the advice seriously, and within 2 weeks he was able to walk farther, and his swelling noticeably decreased. High sodium foods are a common part of the American diet, especially for older adults who rely on convenience meals. But sodium has a powerful effect on the body's fluid balance. When you consume too much salt, your body retains extra water to dilute it. That extra fluid tends to settle in the lower parts of the body, including your feet, ankles, and calves. For seniors, especially those with weakened circulation or heart conditions, this fluid retention can become chronic, leading to puffiness, discomfort, and even pain when standing or walking. Processed meats like ham, bacon, and cold cuts are often packed with sodium. So are canned soups, frozen dinners, packaged sauces, and even healthy vegetable juices. These foods may taste good and feel satisfying in the moment, but over time, the excess salt leads to inflammation of the blood vessels and water buildup in the feet, which puts more pressure on your bones, joints, and nerves. This can worsen existing foot problems like bunions, arthritis, or diabetic neuropathy. But you don't have to sacrifice flavor to lower your sodium intake. Frank began choosing low-sodium or no-salt added versions of his favorite foods. He also started cooking simple meals with fresh ingredients, using herbs like garlic, basil, oregano, and lemon juice to add flavor naturally. He was surprised to find that not only did his feet feel better, but his energy improved too. And food tasted richer without all that salt masking the natural flavors. If your feet often feel swollen by the end of the day, or if you notice sock marks around your ankles, consider this: how much sodium are you eating without realizing it? Start by checking the labels on soups, frozen meals, and deli items. Even just reducing one high-sodium item per day can make a noticeable difference in your comfort and mobility. Now that we've explored how salt can sneak into your meals and settle in your feet, let's turn to another everyday indulgence that might be doing more harm than good, especially if you've ever felt burning or stiffness in your toes after dessert or a sweet drink. Number 3, sugary drinks and sweets trigger gout and foot discomfort. Dorothy, a 73-year-old grandmother from Illinois, had always had a sweet tooth. Every afternoon around 3 p.m., she would pour herself a glass of cola and enjoy a couple of cookies while watching her favorite talk show. It was her little daily pleasure, something she looked forward to. But over the past few months, Dorothy began waking up with a strange, burning pain in her big toe. At first, she thought maybe she'd stubbed it without noticing. But as time passed, the pain became more intense, sometimes so bad it kept her up at night. After speaking to her doctor, she learned something surprising. The sugar in her daily snacks may have been triggering gout, a painful form of arthritis that often starts in the feet. Sugary drinks like soda, sweetened tea, and even fruit juices, along with desserts high in refined sugar, can have serious consequences for older adults dealing with foot pain. One of the most common culprits behind sudden, sharp foot discomfort is an excess buildup of uric acid in the blood. When you consume high amounts of sugar, especially fructose, a type of sugar found in soda and processed sweets, your body breaks it down in a way that increases uric acid production. That uric acid can form sharp crystals in your joints, especially in the toes, heels, and ankles, leading to painful inflammation and stiffness. What makes it worse is that seniors often have slower kidney function, making it harder for the body to flush out the uric acid efficiently. That's why even a seemingly innocent treat like sweetened iced tea or fruit punch can set off a painful flare. Gout is most commonly known for affecting the big toe, but over time, It can spread to other joints and lead to long-term mobility issues if not addressed. But here's the hopeful part. Reducing sugar intake doesn't mean giving up sweetness altogether. Dorothy replaced her afternoon cola with sparkling water infused with slices of orange and fresh mint. She began enjoying frozen berries with a dollop of unsweetened Greek yogurt instead of cookies. Within weeks, the toe pain eased and her energy improved. "I didn't think something as small as a drink could cause so much pain," she said, "but changing it changed everything." If you've ever felt a sharp pain in your toe or ankle after eating dessert or sipping on something sweet, take note. Are you consuming more sugar than you think in your drinks, snacks, or even healthy cereals or sauces? Try cutting back slowly and replacing sugary choices with natural alternatives. Your feet and your whole body will thank you. Now that we've uncovered how sugar can trigger painful flare-ups in your feet, let's explore another everyday ingredient that's often hiding in your sandwich or breakfast plate, and how it may be quietly damaging the blood vessels that your feet depend on for circulation and healing. Number 4, processed meats. Slow circulation and aggravate neuropathy. James, a 78-year-old retired mechanic from North Carolina, had lived with type 2 diabetes for over 20 years. He was careful about sugar, checked his blood sugar regularly, and walked every day after breakfast. But despite his efforts, he started noticing a change in his feet. A strange, tingling sensation crept in during the evenings. Sometimes it felt like pins and needles. Other times it was a burning ache that wouldn't go away. What puzzled James most was that the pain grew worse even on days when his blood sugar was well controlled. After a visit to his nutritionist, one thing stood out. He ate processed meats almost daily, often without even thinking about it. Sausages for breakfast, ham sandwiches for lunch, a few slices of salami for a snack. It was his normal, and it was quietly making things worse. Processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, cold cuts, pepperoni, and sausages may seem like convenient, protein-rich options. But for seniors, especially those with diabetes or poor circulation, these foods can be incredibly harmful to the nerves and blood vessels in the feet. They're often loaded with sodium, nitrates, and chemical preservatives, all of which contribute to systemic inflammation and vascular damage. Over time, this inflammation can narrow and stiffen blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the extremities. And when blood flow is reduced, the feet are one of the first areas to suffer. For individuals like James who already experience peripheral neuropathy, a condition where the nerves in the feet are damaged, poor circulation can make symptoms worse. Tingling becomes pain. Numbness becomes dangerous, as small cuts or injuries can go unnoticed and take longer to heal. Processed meats also tend to be high in unhealthy saturated fats, which not only harm the heart, but also thicken the blood, making it even harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach the nerves in your toes. But here's the good news. Once James became aware of the impact, he started making small but powerful changes. He replaced breakfast sausage with hard-boiled eggs and a handful of nuts. Instead of deli meat, he made fresh chicken breast sandwiches or used tuna mixed with olive oil and lemon. Within a few weeks, the burning sensation in his feet reduced significantly and his energy improved. "I didn't realize how much my food choices were working against me," he said. "Now I feel like I'm giving my body a chance to repair." If you've been feeling numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet, especially if you have diabetes or circulation problems, think about the meats you're eating. Are they fresh and lean or processed and packaged? Could a simple switch to real, whole proteins make your steps feel a little steadier? Now that we've seen how hidden preservatives in processed meats can affect your circulation and nerves, let's turn to one more common food group that many people eat every day, but that might be quietly draining your muscles and leaving your feet feeling weak and tired. Number 5, white bread and refined carbs drain energy and cause fatigue in the feet. Linda, a 69-year-old retired secretary from Oregon, had always enjoyed a light breakfast, usually a couple of slices of white toast with jam and a cup of coffee. For lunch, she often turned to quick meals like a white bread sandwich or a bowl of instant noodles. It seemed like a simple, easy routine. But over time, Linda began noticing that her feet felt oddly heavy after meals. Walking to the mailbox felt harder than it should, and her legs would sometimes ache by mid-afternoon, even if she hadn't done much. She assumed it was just part of aging, until her grandson, who had started studying nutrition, pointed out something she never considered. Refined carbohydrates could be silently draining her energy and weakening her muscles, especially in her feet. White bread, white rice, sugary cereals, and instant noodles are all examples of refined carbs. Foods that have been stripped of fiber and essential nutrients. These quick carbs are broken down rapidly into sugar in your bloodstream, causing a fast spike in blood glucose, followed by a sharp crash. That crash leaves you feeling drained, tired, and mentally foggy. And your muscles, especially in your feet and legs, may feel weak or sore without a clear reason. What makes refined carbs even more damaging for older adults is that they don't offer lasting fuel. Your muscles need steady, consistent energy to function well, especially the small muscles in your feet that help you balance and walk. But refined carbs are like fireworks. A quick burst, then nothing. Over time, relying on these foods can contribute to muscle fatigue, slower healing, and even muscle loss, a condition known as sarcopenia. Combine that with the blood sugar fluctuations they cause, and your nerves and circulation can suffer too, worsening foot sensitivity and pain. Linda decided to make some changes. She swapped her white toast for whole grain or sprouted bread, added some nut butter for protein, and incorporated sweet potatoes and oats into her lunches. Within weeks, she felt a boost in her afternoon energy, and the heaviness in her feet eased. "I didn't think bread had anything to do with how my feet felt," she admitted, "but now I realize it was more than just filling. It was affecting how I moved through the day." If your feet often feel tired after eating, or if you notice a dip in energy mid-morning or mid-afternoon, ask yourself, what kind of carbs are you fueling your body with? Could switching to whole grains, fruits, and fiber-rich foods give your feet the support they deserve? Number 6, dairy may be contributing to foot inflammation. Patricia, a 71-year-old retired school teacher from Vermont, always ended her day the same way, with a small plate of cheese and crackers while she read before bed. It was her comfort routine, something she looked forward to each evening. But for months, she'd been dealing with persistent aches in her feet and ankles. At first, she thought it was arthritis or maybe the cold weather. Her shoes fit tighter, her arches ached when she got out of bed, and some days, even walking through the grocery store left her feet feeling sore. It wasn't until her podiatrist asked about her diet that Patricia considered the link between dairy and inflammation. She'd never imagined that her cheese habit might be making her foot pain worse. But once she made a few small changes, the results surprised her. While dairy does provide important nutrients like calcium and protein, full-fat dairy products, such as cheese, cream, and whole milk, can also trigger inflammatory responses in the body, especially in older adults who may have developed lactose sensitivity or difficulty digesting casein, a milk protein. This inflammation doesn't just affect the gut or digestion. It can manifest in the joints, soft tissues, and nerves, particularly in vulnerable areas like the feet, which are prone to swelling and poor circulation. When the body struggles to break down dairy components, it can lead to the release of inflammatory chemicals that aggravate existing conditions like arthritis, plantar fasciitis, or tendonitis. For people with mild dairy intolerance, even small, regular servings may lead to chronic low-grade inflammation, causing swelling and aching sensations in the feet, especially in the morning or after long periods of standing. Another issue is the saturated fat in full-fat dairy, which has been shown to contribute to systemic inflammation and may slow circulation over time. Poor circulation means the feet, already farthest from the heart, don't get adequate blood flow for healing and recovery. And if you're already dealing with foot problems, even mild inflammation can make every step feel more painful. Once Patricia made the switch to unsweetened almond milk in her coffee and tried plant-based cheese alternatives made from cashews or soy, she noticed her morning stiffness improved. She also began eating more anti-inflammatory foods like berries, leafy greens, and turmeric-seasoned vegetables. "I never thought my feet were connected to what I was putting on my cracker," she laughed, "but now I understand that even small changes matter." If you often feel soreness or tightness in your feet after meals, or wake up with stiffness in your arches or ankles, take a moment to reflect. How often are you consuming full-fat dairy products? Could trying a dairy-free alternative for a week give your feet a break? Now that we've uncovered 6 common foods that could be silently making your foot pain worse, let's pull everything together in our final thoughts and talk about the small, practical steps you can take starting today to reduce inflammation and walk more comfortably. So now you know, foot pain isn't just about aging, injuries, or bad shoes. What we eat every day can have a powerful impact on how our feet feel, move, and recover. The swelling, the burning, the stiffness, these symptoms might be your body's way of asking for support. And often the first step isn't another pill or cream. It's simply changing what's on your plate. From fried foods and salty snacks to sugary drinks, processed meats, refined carbs, and full-fat dairy, each of these can quietly fuel inflammation, reduce circulation, and increase discomfort in your feet. But the most important thing to remember is this: you don't need to overhaul your diet overnight. Small, thoughtful changes make a big difference over time. Maybe it starts with swapping your afternoon soda for lemon water, or choosing whole grain toast instead of white, or adding more anti-inflammatory herbs and vegetables to your meals. With each choice, you're sending a message to your body: I want to feel better. I want to walk with less pain. I want to stay independent and active. Your feet carry you through every step of your life. They deserve to be supported from the inside out. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, neuropathy, gout, or just everyday fatigue, your diet can be one of the most powerful tools you have for relief. Listen to what your body's telling you and give it the care it needs to heal. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. And if someone you love is dealing with foot pain, consider sharing this with them, because no one should have to suffer in silence when relief could be just a few food choices away. Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and take good care of your amazing feet.